You're listening to the Morning Punch-In Show with RB and J, live and direct from more cities than an Instagram model's bio. Get ready for some boxing talk on the clock. Let's face it, you're not working and somebody's got to pay for the Wi-Fi.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is RB and J. This is the Morning Punch-In Show, the most unpredictable, unscripted, but always real morning boxing talk show on the game. Today is Monday, December 18, 2017. Our special guest today will be the new IBF champion from Minnesota, Caleb Truax. Let me properly introduce my partner in crime, the creator and founder of BadCulture.net, contributor for Black Sports Online, Jay LaBeouf. What's good, Jay? What's good in Inglewood?
What's good, RB? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another week of boxing. We're closing in on the holiday, so the action's going to slow down a little bit, but we're going to still keep it hot. Today, I'll be at the Mikey Garcia-Sergey Lipinets press conference here in Los Angeles to officially announce their fight before they head off to Texas. So look out for me with that. But today, we're going to talk about the fights from the weekend and get some good Jake's takes. How are you doing today, RB? Man,
I'm good.
How you doing, RB?
I'm good. I'm still in Philly. It's cold here. It's already snowed like 3 times. I'm ready to get back to Phoenix. But it looks like I'll be on the East Coast a lot early next year, so I'm trying to get, acclimated to this weather. But all was good. There was fights Friday night. Saturday night, we're going to open up and do some fight recaps, and got a really good segment with Jake Donovan today. I feel like every week that segment, Jake's Takes, just keeps getting better and more popular, so we're going to have a really good segment with him today. And then, we saw that Caleb Truax went over and beat James DeGale a couple weeks ago, and he's finally back in the United States, so we're very fortunate to have him joining us this morning as well. Yeah, we got a good show lined up. Even when boxing slows down, your girls, RB and J, we just manage to keep it moving, right?
Right. I feel like I sound hella husky today, like, good morning. Like, this is Quiet Storm, RB and J. Today on RB and J, we're going to talk about some boxing today. So we're doing Quiet Storm in the morning.
Yes. Yeah, all right. Let's go to Friday from Lancaster, California on Fox Sports 1. Former welterweight world champion Jesse Vargas dropped Aaron Herrera, earned himself a unanimous decision victory in the main event. After the fight, Jesse Vargas said he did feel some ring rust. He called out guys like Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. He wants the winner of Spence Peterson, which kind of really confuses me because he's going to be the B-side in all of those fights, and he kind of left Top Rank and bought himself out of his Top Rank contract because he didn't want to be the B-side anymore. And, he was offered a fight with Mike Alvarado for like $200,000, and he was like, no, I'm worth more than that. I'm better than that. And, look at the guys who he's calling out now. So anyway, Jay, how'd the fight go? Break it down.
The fight went good. Jesse Vargas dominated the action from the beginning to the end. What was surprising to me was that he could not put his opponent away like we had seen him do in some past fights. He definitely dominated the action, and I'm sure ring rust played a factor because he's been out of the ring a long, long time as he sat and lay in wait with what was happening with him over at Top Rank, figuring out what he wanted to do with his contract. But he looked good. Another trainer again. If you've listened to our show before, we've had Vargas on before, and we've played a game with him called Wheel of Trainers, and we were just doing it in jest. Do you realize, RB, since the last time we had Vargas on with him, he's had 2 more trainers? And it wasn't that long ago.
Wheel of Trainers.
But other than that, it was a good showing for him. As you mentioned, he will be the B-side in any of these fights. Thurman, Garcia, Porter, Errol Spence, these are earners for PBC. These will definitely be preferred competitors, but maybe it's more palatable to be the B-side when you'll probably make more money, or maybe he won't make more money. We'll just have to see how this plays out. But this was a decisive win for him, and hopefully with all these welterweights over on the PBC side, he can get back in there right away and just get the rust off him.
Yeah, well, a little bit of word on the curb is that, when he bought himself out of the Top Rank contract, and it was for about $300,000, if not a little more, around $350 is the word on the curb. And he really wanted to get out of there, and he wanted to fight the bigger name. And so this is where he is. So I honestly think that he could very well get the winner of Spence Peterson because, Jay, Who else is calling out Earl Spence?
Nobody. A little Keith Sweat for you.
Nobody, baby. Okay, we need to chill. We get some coffee in me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, who else is really even mentioning Earl Spence's name besides maybe like Terrence Crawford? And we know how long that's going to take. So, yeah, Jesse Vargas, yeah, he probably could get the winner of Spence Peterson next, especially if Earl Spence wins, hands down. So anyway,
you know what? Wait, back just on that real briefly. If he gets the winner of Spence's next fight, Spence Peterson, and let's just say in a worst case, well, let's just not even play around. Obviously, the favorite going into that fight would be Errol Spence. And we've noticed that some of the top of the division has said, or some of the other people in his division over on the PB side said that he doesn't have a name and he needs some more names on his resume before he steps up, like Thurman has mentioned it.
Yep.
You have a Jesse Vargas who's been in with Tim Bradley and Manny Pacquiao. If Spence beats Jesse Vargas, do you think Keith Thurman changes his tune about what he needs on his resume? Because Jesse Vargas really has faced some tougher competition than Keith Thurman.
Yeah, and I think Heyman would make him change his tune, too, by saying, look, you wanted him to beat a name. You wanted us to build his resume. Well, he beat Lamont Peterson, and let's say he beats Jesse Vargas. Yeah, time to fight. Time to fight. Yeah. That means he would have beat Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, and Jesse Vargas back to back to back. Yep, Thurman, time to fight him.
It's time to fight.
Good point. Yep. In the co-feature, we had Jamal James. He delivered a vicious body shot for a third-round knockout of Diego Chavez on that fight.
I really thought this was going to be the time that Diego Chavez got a fight on TV that we could see, but Jamal James got in there and took him out with the body shot. Diego Chavez was the favorite child for a long time, and he was always on the better side of decisions, but now he takes an L against Jamal James. Very impressive victory. I always like to see a knockout come by way of body shot. It takes a special kind of discipline in a man like that, so terrific victory for him.
Yeah, John Molina, the biggest story probably of the entire weekend is John Molina, 9 lives, rise from a knockdown to stop Ivan Redkach in the 4th round of a slugfest. And many are saying that this fight deserves a mention as the last true fight of the year contender. Your thoughts, Jay?
I completely agree. John Molina has 9 lives when it comes to boxing. Just when you think that it's coming to an end, he brings out the gladiator spirit, and he gives an exciting fight, and he pulls out an improbable victory. Not that he was just so far unfavored in the matchup against Redkach, but in the manner that he does it, it's just crazy to see how John Molina manages to dig deep and pull out these victories. It's really, really impressive. And I don't think he gets the credit for those types of victories that other fighters do. He really, really has that warrior spirit. But when you think of great warriors in the sport, how few people mention John Molina Jr.? I mean, he's done as many formidable things as Orlando Salido. He's had some crazy fights, and he's just never, ever in the conversation that way. And here we are again with John Molina. Drops Redkach on TV. People are talking more about that fight than the main event. And then you think, well, what do you do? What do you do with him from here? Oh, chill out, Billie Jean.
You know what? That's going to be a really good question for Jake. We're going to ask Jake that. Where does John Molina go from here? Like when you look at the PBC stable and who Heyman has, and then he gets this big knockout win over Ivan Redkach the way he did, people like to see him, and he makes for good TV. Except, when he fights, like Terrence Crawford. But look, there's a lot of good fights out there and a lot of paydays.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunities for him to get in and get at it. He will never, ever be lacking in the competition department on that side. Whether he keeps winning at this point in his career, because even with the win, he got off the canvas to get the win. He's taking a lot of punishment in these fights. So it'll be interesting to see where they move with him or what he chooses to do from here going forward. But we know he's not going to retire and unretire like other fighters have done in the past.
All right. Let's breeze through Saturday night show. From Quebec, Canada on HBO, we had Billy Joe Saunders outpointed David Lemieux to retain the WBO middleweight world title on the main event. Jay, my eyes, Lemieux is very basic. He has power, that one-punch power that he relies on so much, but he couldn't hit Saunders. Saunders boxed his ears off, took him to school. After the fight, we heard some excuses from Lemieux. Oh, I hurt my hand. Oh, he ran too much. No, you got schooled. He outboxed you phenomenally.
Well, at least he can't blame it on the hair this time. Maybe we will call it what Billy Joe Saunders did in there against David Lemieux. We'll liken it to what Tyson Fury did to Vladimir Klitschko. Maybe it's like a gypsy thing. Maybe it's some kind of special thing they do since they're both gypsies before they come in the ring. He completely outboxed David Lemieux. I really thought David Lemieux was going to catch him. I would have never guessed this would have been such a one-sided victory. But the thing that was just completely amazing to me, and we all commented as soon as he stepped in the ring, what the hell did David Lemieux eat from the time they weighed in to the time they fought? It was like he was in a food-eating competition because he was big. He had to be a good 185. What the hell? I don't know what was going on.
So husky and so big. I mean, he looked terrible at the weigh-in anyway. I think we all know he has problems making weight. But the way he blew up, I mean, and you could tell. It looked like he was stuck in mud. He couldn't really move well. I mean, he was never like, the most technical, nice boxer anyway, but it was like he was stuck. He was so flat.
Terrible. The lack of speed, lack of movement, lack of anything substantial. I bowed down to Billy Joe Saunders. I did not predict him to win the fight. I thought Lemieux was going to catch him coming in with a big blow, with one of those big power shots that like you mentioned, he is known for. But Billy Joe Saunders really boxed beautifully. Now, in the whole landscape of the middleweight division, do I favor him over Triple G? No. Do I favor him over Canelo? No. But he's definitely going to get one of them in the near future. So, unless he doesn't take the fight again.
And some of the guys that were salivating for Billy Joe Saunders next, just going on Instagram, we saw Demetrius Andrade. He was there, called him out at the fight, and Danny Jacobs went on there and was like, hold up. I'm getting him next. That's my meat before you. I know Jamal Charlo would love to fight Billy Joe Saunders. He's on the other side of the street. But, man, if he could fight on HBO, there's some really good fights for Charlo over there. So these guys are salivating for Billy Joe Saunders, and I don't think he'd be an easy fight for anyone. And I actually would pick Canelo to beat Billy Joe. A lot of good fights for him. He made a really good coming out party for himself on HBO Saturday night.
Yeah, it was good to see him on that platform. For those who were doubting and they just know Billy Joe of his notoriety, it was good to see him win in that fashion. So it just makes that conversation that much more interesting.
Yeah, including your girl over here on the Morning Punching Show. I mean, I always felt like Billy Joe was ducking fighters. It was one thing or another. He was hurt. It wasn't enough money. It wasn't the right time. I felt like it was always something with him for, ducking out of fights. But, boy, he sure showed me, huh?
Well, not really. I still think that. He could have still had those same fights that we just mentioned. He got all the way down to the wire with Triple G and didn't take it. So I still think that. Just because he had an impressive victory on Saturday night doesn't mean he's not doing a running man on a few people.
Well, in the co-feature, we had Gary Spike O'Sullivan. He dropped and stopped Antoine Douglas in the 7th round to earn a WBO Intercontinental middleweight title in the co-main event. Jay, remember when Antoine Douglas was like the next hot thing on Showtime, and then Kurt Sazizi, or however you say his name, I mean, I feel like he sucked the life out of him, the fight out of him. I mean, it was sad.
It was really sad. It's few fights, it's one of those types of fights that makes me feel like I'm getting a little too soft for boxing, because that I cannot get the look out of that kid's face out of my head of how his eyes look like he just completely checked out. It was like a light had been switched off. And I'm just so saddened for him. That Kirksey fight really sucked. It just took him. The way that whole fight was match made, it was like the matchmaker hated him to put him in that fight at so young, such a tough fight. You don't want to give him a cream puff, but Jesus, don't kill the kid when he's just on the rise.
Well, you know what? Talking about cream puffs, I ended up going to his box rec, Antoine Douglas, that night to see where he had been since that Chris Beasley fight. And they actually did give him like 3 fights since then, off TV. We haven't really seen him. And they did kind of give him some cream puffs, some tune-ups, some showcases. And I think we just saw what he is. And there was a lot wrong there, fundamentally, technically, in his corner. There was just a lot of things wrong there, and I know a lot of fighters really like him because they say he's the nicest guy, he's the humblest guy, which is nice, but he's probably just not at this level anymore, and maybe he never really was. You know, a lot of times good marketing goes a long way.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so now here we are with him. You know, what happens after this? He's going to have to really sit down and do a lot of soul searching because that was a really tough loss. And he was fighting well in the opening rounds, but O'Sullivan just came on strong and just started mollywopping him as the fight went on. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And let's not take away from O'Sullivan. He did what he had to do. You know, he's not the prettiest thing to watch either, but he went in there, handled his business, and, you know, he's probably going to get a nice fight with Golden Boy next. They have that big ESPN series next year. And, you know, they still got Gabe Rosado, who just beat Glenn Tapia. You know, he's probably going to be in the running for the O'Sullivan fight. If James Kirkland ever comes out of hiding, if he ever comes out of, you know, the FBI Witness Protection Program, you know, maybe he could fight O'Sullivan. There's some good fights for Gary O'Sullivan within the Golden Boy stable.
Yes, his market, the guys over in Europe, they hold some good cards in terms of negotiating fights because people need fights and they got belts, and belts matter.
Yeah.
At least belts matter to some.
All right. Well, the opener was Ulysses. He dominated Selden from Long Island, New York, in a wide unanimous decision. I don't even know how this fight made it on TV. I love you, HBO. Don't know how this kid Selden made it on HBO month to month, back to back. But anyway, he got beat.
That was horrible.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. Jay, let's take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with Jake Donovan for Jake's Take. And shout out to Kendall Holt for listening to the Morning Punching Show this morning.
Hey, Kendall Holt. What's up?
John Francis Agency is comprised of dedicated insurance professionals who manage risk, protect wealth, and cater to clients' personal and business needs. We offer disability coverage for boxers as well as life and liability insurance. Career-ending injury insurance along with illness insurance is also offered through our agency. For more information, please visit us online at johnfrancisagency.com or call us today at 732-497-9624. John Francis Agency, our daily grind is protecting your wealth. Any vehicle, any age, any mileage. With Nationwide Auto Warranties, you will stop paying unexpected costly repair bills and let an extended auto warranty pay. Go to nationwideautowarranties.com for an instant email quote or call 1-866-352-4999 for a free, no-obligation phone quote. So stop paying and let Nationwide Auto Warranties get you your coverage today. Again, that number is 1-866-352-4999 or visit nationwideautowarranties.com. You're rocking with the Morning Punching Show with RB and J, and now it's time for Jake's Take.
So, morning, Jake Donovan.
Good morning, RB and J. How is your Monday?
We are doing great. Before we even get started, you have a little celebrity on your hand. Last night, J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, tweeted out a YouTube video of your daughter doing an open mic home that everyone was blown away by. Shout out to your daughter, Nina.
Oh, thank you very much. I know, Nina's very humbled by it. J-Lo is one of the heroes. J-Lo is a hero to, obviously many Boricuas. Just not in the United States. I mean, Boricuas everywhere. But that was a big moment for Nina. Last year she blew up with Nasty Woman, but this felt like something even bigger. I mean, because this is a personal acknowledgement.
We're gonna have to give her own segment on this show.
Right.
I mean, I always said
we might start popping, Jay.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I always said if Nina cared anything about boxing, I wouldn't even have a job. So.
Man, we're gonna get Nina on it. She's gonna come on the show and and do a little intro. RB&J, trend-setting boxing for women everywhere, nasty women everywhere. My Boricua queen, stand up. Everybody take a knee. Let me hear you holla. Man, Nina gonna get it cracking for it.
Yes. All right, Jake, let's get into it. Our Jake's Take segment today. So this past Saturday ended the year for HBO and Showtime. We want to discuss 2017 overall. You know, how was it a success, whether it was financially or the matchups or events? How good of a year was it for the fans? Would you call it a recovery year? And let's talk about 2018 being even better.
Absolutely. I would absolutely call it a great. Everyone kept saying this is one of the greatest years for boxing. I'm going to give a quick shout out and remembrance to my man Damon Ramirez, who died a horribly tragic death over the weekend. He was one of my mentors in the sport. He was one of the first guys to really teach me the inside out of boxing. And one thing that he always said to me that always stuck with me was like, people have seen so much bad boxing in our lifetime that they don't know what good boxing looks like. So to say that this is a great year and one of the greatest years for boxing, you just haven't watched enough of the sport. You don't know what good boxing looks like. This was a good year for the sport and a great recovery year for the sport because 2016 was just complete ass. It really was.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to forget about it. We started off strong in 2017. My beef is I don't think we ended we could have ended a lot stronger. I didn't feel like we really went out with a bang. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders certainly did. He put his name in the middleweight sweepstakes. But as far as like the past 2 months, this should have been like, boxing at its best, especially with boxing on ESPN, the ratings on the rise. I felt like we got a lot of boxing in the end, and it's been a steady second half. It was a very good first half and then a good second half to make it a good, maybe a very good year for boxing. I thought there was a lot of potential for it to be better. And the good news is it actually left room for it to be a lot better in 2018, as opposed to a lot of good fights happening this year and like nothing happening, to start off next year.
So let's talk about the financial success of 2017. Let's highlight some things. So let's reminisce a little bit because you're right. A lot of times the fans are very cynical. So they remember what we got at the end of the year, but they forgot all of the good stuff that we got in the beginning of 2017. There were some really good fights. There were some financial successes like Mayweather-McGregor. We can't just act like that didn't happen, right?
Of course. Yeah, one thing with Mayweather-McGregor, people have to understand this. This provided Showtime with a world of opportunity. And, a major shout-out to Showtime. Everybody's boxing buddy, Rick Laser, asked, the question of how boxing was in 2017, and I broke it down in that thread. But, Showtime stepped up bigger than anyone else this year. Yes, Top Rank got to deal with ESPN, but Showtime, they saw that HBO's budget is struggling. So, Steven Espinosa, they have a chance to really become the face of boxing. And, they to use a baseball term, they really hit a grand slam this year, I think. They stepped up. They invested a lot of money in fights. They once again brought boxing back to CBS. I'd like to see that more on a regular basis rather than, just a once-a-year show. But, they're doing all the right things, and then they're already starting out strong in 2018. What helps that cause is the boatload of money that they made off of Mayweather-McGregor. And sadly, the boxing hardcore fans don't want to hear this. But we need those sideshow events, especially the ones that are guaranteed to make money like that. I don't know if everybody turned a profit. I don't know, if, there was so much guaranteed money that some people didn't make money. But I do know that Showtime is in a very good position. They're definitely in the black this year, and they have, reason to expand their budget for 2018. And we're already seeing it. They've announced two very strong shows to start the year. There's a third that's probably going to be announced soon for late January. But, they're off to a very strong start for 2018 already. What we need from them now, obviously, is to keep it, all 12 months of the year. Their last show this year was November 4th with Deontay Wilder. The good news with that was Deontay's ratings went way up from his last appearance on Showtime. So I like the fact that Showtime is willing to build on that. So, again, everyone had their thoughts on Mayweather-McGregor, but it provided the opportunity for Showtime to really, stake its claim as the face of boxing, at least stateside boxing.
Yeah. Well, Jake, another event, and I'm going to need you to speak up a little bit more or get a little closer to your phone, but another event that I remember being very financially successful was Canelo Chavez. Did that not happen this year, or am I like...
Yeah. And again, that was another sideshow event. People saw it as a gimmick, but For the fans in Mexico, it was a fight that was 5 years in the making, maybe even longer. They finally found a weight to make it happen. A lot of people didn't like it because everyone wanted Canelo to fight Golovkin. Little did they know that fight was already in the mix. Canelo just wanted one more payday. He got it. He beat the snot out of Chavez. And he's, I think, the second fighter this decade. Manny Pacquiao was the only other one to do this, where he was able to have 2 pay-per-view events in the same year that drew 1 million or more buys. So that really speaks to the drawing power of Canelo Alvarez. He's, people want to see him on HBO, but he is without a doubt the sports, pay-per-view star. If someone needs to be on pay-per-view, it's going to be Canelo Alvarez. And the fans are tuning in. Regardless of the numbers that came with Canelo Golovkin, I know Golden Boy is trying to tout a bigger number that was actually the case. Regardless, Canelo really, brought a lot of bang to Golden Boy and to HBO. HBO needed it because, like I said, their budget is very struggling. And not all their events were a success. But Canelo Chavez, yes. They made a ton of money off that fight. And, again, that helped, whatever money HBO made, that helped them contribute to the second half of their schedule. So, again, boxing needs events like this. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But there is an audience that is going to buy it, and that's actually good for the health of the sport because they can invest it in bigger fights.
So let's talk about, how can 2018 be even better then?
Okay, we still have a lot of gaps. For those who honor lineage, I'm one of those guys. I'm not always big on belts because there's so many of them. I love, title lineage to me means that someone cleaned out their division. There are not a lot of true champions anymore. Tyson Fury is still recognized as the heavyweight champion, but he hasn't fought in 2 years. He might fight in 2018. So, to me, it's a sign that the best aren't, we're seeing the best on, a somewhat regular basis, or at least more than has been the case. But we truly need to see the best against each other. And that means, putting politics aside. I'm sick and tired of hearing, even like within PBC verse, it's like, now Keith Thurman is deciding the guys he does and doesn't want to fight. And like you said, RB, Al Heyman will likely fix that. But, as long as he's fighting once a year and deciding who he wants to fight that one time per year, that's a problem. Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, if PBC is only going to match its guys against each other, Spence-Thurman is a fight that absolutely needs to happen in 2018. If not, we need to get to a point where Terrence Crawford is fighting either Keith Thurman or Errol Spence. So we can't hear that Bob Arum doesn't want to do business with Al Heyman. We can't hear that, Golden Boy doesn't want to do business with Bob Arum. We can't hear that Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren can't coexist, so we're not going to see Billy Joe Saunders and Daniel Jacobs. The politics need to really step aside, and fans and media need to stop accepting that as an excuse. That's the biggest thing.
It is so whack when that is the reason why a fight can't happen. Oh, Hearn can't work with Warren. Top Rank can't work with Heyman. It really hurts the fighters. Yeah, it hurts the fans, but, it hurts the fighters more, in my opinion.
It really does. And I'm thinking of a guy like Daniel Jacobs this weekend. Like you said, he was, he wants to be first in line to fight Billy Joe Saunders. If that fight fight can't happen, then just go straight for Demetrius Andrade. Andrade is now all of a sudden, he was the guy that didn't want fights for years. Now all of a sudden he wants to stay active. If he wants to stay active, call him out. And if he doesn't want to fight, then get him the hell out of the way. Get Derevchenko in the ring. Get Jamal Charlo in the ring. There's a lot of, middleweight division has the potential to be really hot. And there's a lot of guys that want to fight. Let's make these matches happen, all in the first half of 2018. Obviously, everyone can't stand in line, waiting for Canelo and Triple G. They're likely going to fight in May. We know they're not going to fight, then yeah, absolutely. Let's line them up as the next opponent. But if not, these guys need to start fighting each other and prove their case as the guy that should be next in line for the winner of Canelo and Triple G.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, let's real quick look at the first couple months of 2018 where, we had some really good fight announcements already. There's some fights that are in the works for early 2018. And it looks like, again, that Showtime is going to be coming out pretty strong.
Yeah, I like the Errol Spence, Lamont Peterson fight. Just because I'm a big fan of both guys, even aside from the writer and me liking the matchup. I just genuinely like both guys. Maybe stylistically it heavily favors Spence, but, what fight really isn't at welterweight outside of a match with, Thurman or Terrence Crawford at this point? Spence is going to be a big favorite over everyone. He only got one fight in 2017. I know that angered him, even if he wasn't that public about it. So I like that he's fighting in the beginning of the year. I'm glad that Lamont Peterson is getting back in the ring. So one fight I really like that a lot of people don't is Mikey Garcia and Sergey Lipinets. Everyone wanted Garcia Linares, myself included. What I'm looking at, though, is, while I'm upset that Garcia didn't take the Linares fight, he took a very tough fight for his first one at 140. Maybe he goes in there and schools Lipinets, who knows? But, that's not a guy that you just call out for your very first fight at new weight. He had the fight with Broner, so, I guess he got a feel for it. But this is his first, title fight at 140. There's a lot of easier ways to go get a title than, chasing a dangerous puncher like Lip. What I don't like is that, Linares wanted the Garcia fight, and now he's got a very soft touch for his first fight of 2018. I don't like that card that HBO has to start off the year. It's very weak both for Linares and Lucas Matisse. It's two guys you want to see on TV and in the ring, but it's, they're basically not set-up fights, but they're stay-busy fights for both of them, which is what you don't want to see on HBO, which for decades has been the leader of boxing.
Yeah.
So,
it does look like we might get Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack in the first quarter of 2018. There's some really good fights that are in the works, that are in play, that are all going to hit in the first quarter, which is cool with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Like I said, let's not forget Superfly 2 in late February.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, so like I said, the first 2 months already, we're seeing, there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about, the health of boxing in 2018. What we need is for it to continue throughout the year. So March, they're talking about Sergey Kovalev coming back in Madison Square Garden. I like the fact that Kathy Duva recognizes she needs to keep her guy active. She needs to keep him on TV and in tough fights. He's rumored to be fighting Sullivan Barrera. Maybe that fight happens, maybe it doesn't, but she's putting him in a market where she thinks she could finally build for Sergey Kovalev. He needs that because, after coming off 2 losses to Ward and not having a fan base, he's in the rebuilding stage, but he's the guy that wants the tough fights. So, we're already into first week of March, and, there's already a lot of boxing. So that's very good news. A lot of good boxing.
All right, Jake Donovan, thank you again for another fantastic installment of Jake's Take. Shout out to your very talented, amazing, amazing daughter and her accomplishments, and we look forward to keep talking to you during the week.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and as I always say, it's my favorite part of every Monday.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jakey.
All right.
For all the latest news, interviews, and boxing schedules, visit BoxingInsider.com, providing readers with everything from the latest fight schedules to interviews with your favorite boxers. BoxingInsider.com has you covered from top to bottom. BoxingInsider.com is looking for new writers. Think you have what it takes to join the team? Submit your articles to our team at info@BoxingInsider.com. Visit BoxingInsider.com today, the only boxing website where you become the fifth man in the corner. Are you an entrepreneur looking to find out where to start or develop a business plan? Are you looking to start a business or grow your business revenue? Are you a business owner that needs fresh new ideas or needs to solve challenges with strategy, marketing, or process? Red Beach Advisors is a management consulting group focused on helping entrepreneurs, startups, and companies build, grow, and scale. Contact Red Beach Advisors at info@redbeachadvisors.com or 424-247-6143. Red Beach Advisors helps companies build, grow, and scale through strategy, process, systems, and people. We are the experts. Contact us at 424-247-6143 or www.redbeachadvisors.com.
Thank you. We are back. This is the Morning Punch and Show with RB and J, and it looks like our guest of the hour is on with us. Please welcome the IBF Super Middleweight Champion and the new Caleb Truax. Good morning, Caleb. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Not as good as you, but we're doing pretty great. You've made it.
Not too many people are doing as good as me right now, so yeah, I'm chilling.
So once you had your hand raised in victory, it was a fantastic victory, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. An interesting fact that we found out about you was that you worked in a liquor store and you might still be on payroll. Are you still on payroll at the liquor store?
No, I quit probably about 3 years ago and started boxing full time. And I was working part time and boxing up until before my fight with Danny Jacobs in like 2014. So I've been able to box full time for a few years now, but
good.
Just got a little bit easier with that win.
Are you going to go back over there with the belt on to the store?
No, I see some of the people that I used to work with, so that's good enough for me.
All right.
All right. Well, we know you were a little bit of a late bloomer. You didn't start boxing until you were like 19. I think you had like a knee injury. You were a football player. Not a huge amateur background. Maybe like 30, 35 amateur fights. You even competed, I think, in like tough man competitions before even becoming a full-time pro boxer. Give us a little bit about your background for the people who don't know you.
Yeah. So like you said, I was a football player and a baseball player in high school. I went to college to play football, and ended up hurt my knee, and just I was never going to be an NFL player, nothing like that anyway. So I just wanted to concentrate on college, and I came back to the University of Minnesota, and I was just bored basically. I've been an athlete my whole life and didn't have nothing to keep my competitive drive going. So I decided to try out boxing. I started by doing a tough man tournament, and I did a couple of those, and then I went into amateur boxing, and 14 years later, here I am.
That's pretty amazing. So actually, we're looking at our Twitter timeline, and people are tweeting us, asking us questions to ask you, and we have a question here from a fan that says, did you shovel the driveway and clean up after the dog like the wife asked you to when you got back?
I did. I tweeted about that the other day. I got home and get home and celebrate for a day with my girlfriend, and then the next morning I'm like, man, I'm a world champ, baby. It's our lives just got changed forever. And like, yeah, that's we're proud of you, but can you go shovel the driveway and go pick up the dog crap before garbage day?
Back to business as normal.
She keeps me grounded. She keeps me on my toes.
Look, this was an amazing fight. You went over. This was your first trip over to England to compete in this fight. What was the reception like when you first arrived there during fight week for this James DeGale fight?
For the most part, the fans were all cool, man. They're a knowledgeable boxing public, and the media is great over there. I mean, it's a lot bigger, I guess, than it is over here. You know, it's one of their major sports, I would say, and so it was cool. The reception was good, and obviously they were cheering for their hometown guy. But a lot of the people that I met in the boxing gym that I was at, working out over there and on the street and stuff, they said they're cheering for their British guy, but at the same time they wouldn't be upset if I won because they thought he was all kind of a jerk. So it's everybody was cool.
Was he a jerk? I mean, because I think that is the perception he gives off. Is James DeGale a jerk? Like, you can be honest. You won't tell nobody.
He was respectful. In the press conference and the post fight stuff, he didn't do nothing crazy. The only thing that bothered me was it was almost worse than like talking trash. Or to me, it was worse than talking trash. But he was just like dismissive. You know, he wasn't. Him and his promoter were Frank Warren were talking about who they're going to fight in 2018 and when they're going to fight Groves and DeGale and Benavidez and all these people and talking about how much money they're going to make next year. I'm sitting 2 spots away at the press room. I'm just looking at him like, all right, man, I got you. You got to get
I'm
back
right
to
here.
Yeah.
Wow. So some of those. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh no, I was going to say with this now as you defeat James DeGale, another left hand, another southpaw. Can we change your name? Can we start calling you the Southpaw Killer? Because clearly you have figured out what so many cannot. And what is the key notching these victories over southpaws where everyone else feels like this is like an insurmountable task?
I had real good sparring for this fight. That's the main thing is just getting good southpaw sparring. And I boxed with Aaron Coley from Oakland, California. He's a good. He's like 16-1, a real good middleweight prospect at the southpaw. And he gave me good rounds. And he also we sat down and talked and he broke it down like what he thought I could expect from DeGale, and that helped a lot. That just those little techniques and stuff like that helped a lot. And also, I have a pretty good straight right hand, and that's kind of my go-to punch, and that's always the southpaw killer. So it's all about just sparring, and also my manager is a southpaw, so he kind of gives me some of the old tricks of the trade that he used to do when he was back in the day when he was a fighter.
We have Kendall Holt, who is listening to the show with him. He says he's a southpaw killer too, because he too is 7-0. So maybe you guys could found a new company. We'll call it Caleb and Holt, or Holt and Caleb, and you will teach clinics to fighters around the nation, or start a developmental league for Olympians on how you too can kill southpaws.
Yeah, I'm just trying to knock people out like he has in the past, man. That's it.
Man, I used to love watching Kendall Holt. It was hard watching him fight Danny Garcia because, you know, I wanted to root for the Philly kid, but I loved Kendall. Ooh, that was a tough fight to watch. But anyway, back to you. This is about you. This is not the Kendall Holt show. So this was your first fight in England. How long before the fight did you get over there to try to acclimate, you know, to the food, the weather, and the time and all that?
Yeah, we got over there on Monday of the week of the fight, so we had about 6 days to get ready. Ideally, I would have liked a little bit more time, but it was kind of a take it or leave it type of a deal with this promotion. So we were there from Monday until Wednesday. I actually stayed a few days after just to check out the city. I'd never been there even on vacation or anything, so got to visit, see some of the landmarks and stuff after.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this win, what does it really, really do for you? So we know DeGale and his promoter, they were calling out a bunch of other big names. They were already talking about the money. You know, realistically, how does this change your life, this win?
Well, financially, obviously, you know, having the belt, you are able to make a lot more money. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background.
It's okay.
Yeah, financially, it's gonna you know, step up my pay obviously a lot. I mean, I've done all right in my career, and I was able to do it full time, but I never had like a huge, you know, giant payday that's like life changing, and hopefully that's what this will bring.
We hope so too. I mean, that moment was just so special. I mean, the way that you hit the ground and you cried, I think we all felt your glory at that moment. Yeah. I mean, that's why I stay in love with boxing, because of fighters like you and the hard work, the sacrifice, and then to see it on your face. You know, because the sport can be so brutal and sometimes so unfair. But I did a little research, and it seems that you are only the second boxer from Minnesota to ever win a world title. Do you know who the other fighter was that was a world champion in the late 1990s?
Well, there's been 4, but I know you're talking about my main man, Steel Will Grigsby. But there was one named Michael Dowd, a middleweight champion. That was like back in like the 20s or something like that, 1920s, and then Johnny Ertl was another one. He was a bantamweight. I think he was back in like 1905 or something like that.
Okay, Caleb, a boxer and a scholar.
Well,
people don't know who's winning.
I can't take credit. I can't take credit for that because I knew about Steel Will Grigsby, but we got a local guy that is like a boxing historian, and he texted me after the fight and congratulated me and told me that. So
that is awesome. Caleb, it was just such an honor to see you win in the fashion you do. There's so many times where fighters come in as the underdog or the B-side in the fight, however you want to call it, and to see you win and just embrace the moment and just show the true emotion, as RB mentioned, of all your sacrifice. Because I think sometimes we see a lot of fighters take their accolades for granted and they think, oh, this is nothing. Yeah. But it is a lot of tough work to go over into enemy territory. You have them, you know, lightweight talking greasy, disrespecting you during the fight week, talking about all the fights that they're going to get. And I also saw that you mentioned on Twitter that now you want that same energy, those same fights, those same opportunities. Yeah. Do you think those opportunities are realistic for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there may be a rematch with DeGale first of all, but if I get past that, yeah, I mean,
we got some word on the curve,
right?
Yeah, he said he wants a rematch, and I'm willing to. I'll go back to London and beat him up again. I don't care. I'd rather have it here in Minnesota, but it's if they pay me more and over in London, I'll go back there.
That's right. Well, thank you for that little bit of word on the curve there. That was tight. Before we let you go, we have a quick game that we like to call Spitfire. And, you know, if you don't want to answer any of these questions, you could definitely plead the fifth, but we don't have anything too dirty for you today. So you ready to play Spitfire before we let you go?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Favorite fighter to watch today?
Today? Let me see. I like watching Lomachenko. I like watching Andre Ward, but he just retired.
All right. Favorite fighter of all time?
Felix Trinidad.
Oh my God, me too. We just bonded.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my dog. I named my dog after him. Felix Tito Trinidad is my dog's name too.
You just named my favorite fighter. Yeah. Most technical boxer today in boxing. Who is it? Most technical boxer.
Most technical.
Come on, they're supposed to be quick.
Right, Terrence Crawford.
All right. Favorite boxing movie of all time?
The Great White Hype.
Worst part about training camp?
Not eating what I want and not being able to drink any beer.
I know that's right. If you could make a fight of any two active fighters today, who would you make?
Wilder and Joshua.
What is the last fight that you watched and you really got into and was really excited about it?
I really love that Joshua Klitschko fight because it was you don't see heavyweight fights like that too often, and I thought it was really good for the sport.
All right, and one last one. Spit us a hot 16 of your favorite rap song right now.
Oh man, I'll have to plead the fifth on that one. I'm more of an oldies guy. If you ask me for some Bill Withers lyrics, I could probably do that, but I'm a plead the fifth on rapping.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, it is an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on your victory. Enjoy your IBF super middleweight title. We look forward to seeing what's next for you in the ring, and good luck. And you have some friends here with RB&J. Feel free to stop by with us anytime. We'd love to have you.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good one. Champ.
AceRevealWild.com phone cards provide customers with a secure and convenient platform for purchasing quality telephone airtime. We give customers the opportunity to play games and win real cash payouts. Check us out online at AceRevealWild.com for our weekly Wednesday Hump Day special of a $10 bonus for a $30 purchase, plus our daily Blue Light special of $5 bonus for a $20 purchase. So when you think you want to go wild, think AceRevealWild.com phone cards and sign up for your VIP account today. Be bold, win big, go wild. Only at AceRevealWild.com. Are you an elite athlete looking to take your training to an elite level? Then Porter High Performance Center in Las Vegas is your #1 spot. Our private training facility offers you high-altitude chambers, a boxing ring with telestrators, cryogenics tubs, helix machines, a multi-purpose weight machine, and more. Come and train like an elite champion with us at Porter High Performance Center. For more information, contact us on social media at Porter High Performance and through former world champion at Showtime Sean P.
And we are back. I'm having a great time with you, RB, this morning.
Too.
You're listening to the Morning Punch-In Show. Shout out to Caleb Truax, the new champion. But I'm just having a great time this morning.
Me too. And he was so much fun. And, just that underdog that you see go over there and pull it off and become a real world champion. I like to say all the time that world champs fight all over the world. And that's what he did. Kudos to him. And he's willing to go back and do it again, especially if there's more money involved, which there would be. That's another main event over there.
And to be honest, if he goes over there and rematch, I'd give him the victory again. I think he takes it again. He might take it in even better fashion. So we'll keep an eye out on him and make sure you guys all follow him on Twitter if you aren't already. And his Twitter is @GoldenCalebT, CALEB, the letter T, Golden Caleb T. So make sure you give the Southpaw Killer a follow. Let's jump into some. Oh, go ahead, RB.
No, I was going to say, if you've been hiding under a rock, you've been doing a lot of Christmas shopping all week, we got the latest news coming up. We got, in case you missed it here, Jay, I know that you've been all over the place and following a lot of things, so catch us up to speed. What's been going on?
Been around the world. Okay, and in case you missed it, news. Eddie Hearn says there's a chance that Anthony Joshua could fight Tyson Fury at the end of the year. Hearn says that in an ideal world, AJ would fight 3 times in 2018 against Parker Wilder in Fury. So we will see what happens with that. It looks like the next step for Anthony Joshua will be Parker, but you never know what happens at the end of the year. Ultimately, he and Wilder will make a collision course on Showtime since they're both contractually obligated to the network, so it's just a matter of time, and we will see what happens with Fury. In other news, in an interview with ESPN Deportes, Juan Manuel Marquez reveals that investors in the Philippines offered him $100 million to travel over to the Philippines to face Manny Pacquiao in a fifth bout of their ongoing series, but he turned it down. He says that there was an offer for a fifth fight against Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines for $100 million, and I refused it in order to keep my honor and glory of the fourth fight from 2012.
Wow.
$100 million. That's not a little bit of money, but honor can't be bought. Honor and glory can't be bought.
You're right. You're right about that.
I might have taken $100 million, but that's just Jay.
I probably would have taken it too. I'm just saying, but yeah.
Damn right. All right. Tyson Fury, the former WBA Super IBO, IBF, WBO World Heavyweight Champion, has been handed a reprieve by the UK Anti-Doping Association, and he is free to resume his career in 2018. He will be accepting a backdated 2-year ban. So all that time he was sitting out, they'll accept that as time served, and he is able to get back into the ring. So that is all we got for him. On to Sergey Lipinets and Mikey Garcia. What happens now? So as I mentioned at the top of the show, I'll be going to that press conference today. But in case you missed this news, no matter what happens with that fight, Mikey Garcia will remain the WBC light heavyweight champion when they fight on February 10th. Mauricio Suleiman of the WBC said on Twitter that Garcia will keep the 135-pound championship because he and Jorge Linares are on a course to fight following their upcoming bouts. Venezuela's Linares is the WBC diamond lightweight champion and the mandatory challenger for Garcia when he won over Dejan Zlatikanin. That was Mikey Garcia won over Zlatikanin. So that's what we do in these days. You fighting, but you can still keep your belt. Then what's the point of having a belt? And that's no disrespect to Mikey Garcia. I know very well not to but to pick against Mikey Garcia because the 2 times that I have, it's bitten me in the butt. But just from the perception of that, it's just strange to me.
I'm done trying to figure out organizations and their rules. And, you know, look what happened with Luis Ortiz. He popped 30, still allowed to fight. I'm done trying to figure out these sanctioning bodies and how they do things and how they make up belts and when it's okay to do certain things and when you done. I'm over it. I just want to see fights. I'm not going to figure it out.
Boxing continues to be the wild, wild west. For those who are missing Andre Ward, you know what? He's missing you too. Andre Ward says that traveling over to sit on these HBO broadcasts has given him that little bit of pull that he does miss from boxing. And he says, you know, sometimes he feels that pull, but he had some physical ailments and things over the past years that were part of the contributing factors for him to retire. And he says that all of these things will be detailed in an upcoming documentary where he is the subject. And he had this to say: "It was a succession of moments. It just wasn't one moment. I've been dealing with a lot of physical issues over the years. I don't talk about it. I just put my head down and deal with it. Right now, I'm working on a documentary. You'll see some things that'll be revealing. You guys are going to see some of the things I had to go through before the first Kovalev fight, and that's going to be alarming. The fact that we even made it to the fight, the shape my shoulder was in before surgery in 2013. So be on the lookout from Andre Ward. So, hey, he misses you too. If you miss him, he misses you too. Also,
interesting.
Carl Frampton, here's some news. For those of you who are fans of Carl Frampton, reportedly that Carl Frampton could be back in the ring on April 7th in Belfast against none other than Nonito Donaire. According to his promoter, Frank Warren, Carl Frampton will be in April 7th, and that is the leading name to be discussed for the former 4-division champion, Nonito Donaire. So look out for that. That's an interesting fight. Nonito Donaire got out of his contract, and he's going ahead, and he's still getting fights, so maybe it was the best move for him. That's a pretty good fight if he gets it. For those of you who missed Teddy Atlas, because I was complaining about you guys complaining about Teddy Atlas a few weeks ago, and I'm sorry you'll have to continue complaining because it looks like Teddy is off for good. ESPN confirmed that the removal of Teddy Atlas from the boxing events will be permanent. After 21 years of calling fights, he is off the network. He still had 2 to 3 years left on his existing contract, but he is off. I'm a little disappointed by that. Whether you love or hated Teddy, Teddy was authentically Teddy at all times.
Yeah, and, I know that what put the nail in the coffin was that one ESPN show where him and Mark Kriegel just weren't really seeing eye to eye. And, maybe he was a little rude. I think he was just so frustrated. But I think that put the nail in the coffin. I mean, ESPN doesn't want a commentator on there talking about the judges are crooked, that there's robberies, that nobody knows nothing in boxing. This is an embarrassment. I mean, they don't want that on their network.
Yeah, water in the basement. Two more topics. Orlando Salido, as we know, he came up short against Mickey Roman last weekend and said he was done. Guess what? No, he's not. He'll be back in 2018. He said he was just kidding. He will be back in 2018. And lastly, Saddam Ali will remain at 154 after defeating Miguel Cotto. He won't be going back to 147. Yeah, he said he wants to stay there. He wants to defend the title there. So, paging Jermell Charlo. Saddam Ali is at 154, and he is waiting. That's a great fight. I give Charlo the edge in that fight. I'm just refusing to pick against the Charlos anymore. So Saddam Ali, he's out there, and he's ready to work at 154. And that's all you're in case you missed the news.
Interesting. Well, some fights that were set last week that might have flew under the radar, Robert Easter versus Javier Fortuna, which we gave you that word on the curb last week. Well, it was formally announced and added to the Spence Peterson card on January 20th at the Barclays. Danny Garcia and Brandon Rios and Benavidez Graville. That is tied for February 17th, but those fights are pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered as well. Felix Verdejo is actually going to return to the ring on March 17th. Top Rank is doing a big St. Paddy's Day card at the Madison Square Garden. So Michael Conlon will be on there, Shakur Stevenson, Michaela Mayer, a lot of his prospects, Tefimo Lopez, and Felix Verdejo is said to be back on that card as well. And we've already talked about it a few times today, but Mikey Garcia and Sergey Lipinets is official February 10th in San Antonio. That's all we got.
Hey, RB, you called all those fights. Can we get our props? Y'all going to give us our props for dishing the word on the curb? RB drops a word on the curb every week, and then we see an announcement immediate following in about 17 articles. But nobody says, hey, you know what? Let me hook our girls up. Hook your girls up.
Right. Well, what I want to do is I want to take one quick commercial break. We have like 3 minutes left. I've got a little bit of word on the curb. There's no weekend fight schedule for us. If anybody does want to play Know It or Blow It, we do have a photograph that is autographed by Manny Pacquiao that we can send to you if you want to play and win. So let's take one quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Play Know It or Blow It. I'll dish the word on the curb, and we'll wrap up for the week.
For all the latest news, interviews, and boxing schedules, visit BoxingInsider.com, providing readers with everything from the latest fight schedules to interviews with your favorite boxers. BoxingInsider.com has you covered from top to bottom. BoxingInsider.com is looking for new writers. Think you have what it takes to join the team? Submit your articles to our team at info@BoxingInsider.com. Visit BoxingInsider.com today, the only boxing website where you become the fifth man in the corner.
I feel like we should come in with some ludicrous I got pros in different area codes.
Yeah, so look, if you want to play Know It or Blow It, if you want to win a photograph signed by Manny Pacquiao, it is authentic memorabilia, press 1. The question is actually pretty easy today. We'll give you 10 seconds on the clock, and if you win, we'll send you an autographed photograph of Manny Pacquiao. Anybody willing to play, press 1 now.
We see you, 773-562-916, 718-816. Anonymous caller, we see you too, 818. It's a lot of you out there. I see some 213s and 504s and 212s and 917s. What's good? Go ahead and press 1 on your keypad and try to win this Manny Pacquiao memorabilia. It is authenticated courtesy of our sponsor of Boxing Insider. Make sure you visit Boxing Insider for all the latest boxing news, as you just heard during our commercial break. But we need somebody to press 1. Are you scared? Y'all like to come at us on Twitter and try to challenge us for what's good.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to go ahead and dish the word on the curb. It's only a very little bit of word on the curb, and it's not even all that exciting. But it's been a very dead week. I think everybody's ready for the holidays, and a lot of things have already been announced. But the one fight that I'm hearing about, word on the curb, is that they are making Peter Quillen versus Jeandra Love. So expect for that to be announced soon. They're just waiting for the ink to dry on the contract, making sure everybody's good with the money and everything else. But Peter Quillen versus Jeandra Love at 168. It will probably land on that February card with Benavidez Graville. And who was the other one I mentioned? Oh, Garcia, Brandon Rio. So look out for Peter Quillen versus Jeandra Love. That's the word on the curb.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to really kind of marinate on that one. That was not what I was expecting you to say.
Sorry,
you know what? For those of you who
trash this week.
Well, you know what? For those of you listening, and the word on the curb, we prep for our show and we do our notes or everything, but it's very rare that I know all the word on the curb before we get on the air. So you're getting my authentic reaction to some of these things. So sometimes if you hear a pause, it's because I'm trying to digest it. But yeah, I don't know what to think about that one.
Yeah, I love catching Jay off guard. Anybody willing to play Know It or Blow It? If not, we are going to wrap up and be done today. Anybody willing to play Know It or Blow It?
Nah, fam, we about to joshing. They don't want it with us today.
Kendall, if you're listening, you better press 1 because you will know this one off the top of your head, and I will send you a photograph of Manny Pacquiao autographed.
Oh, wait, somebody did press 1. I don't think it's Kendall, but we'll see who it is. What's up, 773? You are on with your girls, RB and J. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Good, magnificent Monday morning. This is Jason from Chicago.
What's good?
Jason from Chicago.
What's going on?
What's good? Here we go. We are going to give you 10 seconds on the clock.
All right.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right. The youngest boxer to win a world title at the age of 17 is? Who is the youngest boxer to win a world title at the age of 17?
Is it Mayweather?
No, I don't even think he was pro yet. The youngest boxer that won a world title at the age of 17.
Yeah.
Man, it was Wilfredo Benitez.
Oh.
Tito.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right.
I'll try again another week.
All right. Thanks for calling, Jason from Chicago.
Well, shoot. Excuse me. This was really fun this morning.
Right. We are going to wrap up. We are, over the next week or two, going to be prepping for our year-end awards show, which is going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of, guests calling in, and we're going to give a bunch of prizes out. So, you probably won't hear from us Monday. Everybody have a super Merry Christmas. We are going to be getting ready for our end-of-year show, like I said. Today's show is brought to you by theboxinginsider.com, John Francis Agency, Porter High Performance Center, NationwideAutoWarranties.com, War Tape Brand, Red Beach Advisors, and AceRevealWild.com. Make sure you visit badculture.net. Make sure you're following Jay today. She will be at the Mikey Garcia Lipinets press conference in LA. We appreciate you guys for listening today, and catch us on the Morning Punchin' Show in 2 weeks for the year-end show from 8 to 9. Have a good one.